My name is Sophia, and today I'm gonna be giving you some book recommendations based on books you might you like or are interested in, and comparing them to books you might like or might be interested in. So how I'm gonna be doing this is first I'm gonna pick up the most popular book, tell you a little bit about it, then pick up the other one, tell you a little bit about it, and they say why they're similar and why I think people who enjoyed one will enjoy another, and vice versa. So the first book I'm gonna be picking out is, if you've watched like just one book on my channel, you're gonna know I love the series, but it's Nevernight by Kristoff. This is my favorite series of all time. It's a revenge story about a girl named Mia Corvair who gets her entire family killed because they were part of a rebellion, and now she vows vengeance against the people who killed her family. And so she goes to this assassin school where she trains and she meets people, and she goes to classes to learn how to be a better assassin so she can kill the people who killed her family. This book is grimdark. It's adult fantasy. It is explicit, and it's really, really good. The writing here has a lot of personality, and a lot of people don't like it. But I love it, and I recommend this book to everybody. The book I'm comparing Nevernight to is Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, a series that is extremely underrated and that I love so much. So, Red Sister is about this young girl named Nona Gray, who is on the death row, pretty much. She's gonna be hanged. She's 10, I think. She's 10 years old in the beginning of this book. She's on death row. She's gonna be hanged for the almost murder of this noble, this important man. And when she's about to be hanged, this woman, this abbess, I don't know the name of abbess of the convent, goes there, takes her out of there, and gets her to the convent, where there are nuns who worship the ancestor, who's the main god here. And Nona she lives there now. She goes to school there. She learns how to meddle with the magics. She makes friends. She learns the value, she values her friendships a lot, and it's really, really good. This is also an adult high fantasy, even though the main character is really young. And the main reason why I think so many people would like this if they have not read it before, it's the school setting, which is a really popular trope that is also in Nevernight, and the fact that the female friendships here are the most important part of the story and of Nona's life. Nona values nothing above her friendships. This is stated throughout the series, throughout her growing up. Friendships are what she values most. The reason why I compare these two books is mostly because of the school setting. Well, the school setting is in both of these, even though Nevernight, you almost die. The teachers are trying to kill you over and over again. In Red Sister, it's more of they're like a family, even though they don't go easy on the students. But the atmosphere is kind of similar. It's kind of like this dark world where children suffer a lot, and we see both of these characters grow up kind of on the page, and I really do think that people who enjoy this will enjoy this, even though the writing here has a lot of personality, and the writing here is it's beautiful, but it's not too much. I think these stories have some similarities, and both of these have a lot of merit on their own, and they are kind of alike. And yeah. The second comparison I'm gonna make is between Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. This is, if you don't know what this is or who Brandon Sanderson is, you are missing out. But it's adult high fantasy series about this world, which is it's not grim dark world, but it's like the world itself is dying. Everybody is dying. And there's this group of thieves who are trying to overthrow the Lord Ruler, who is the ruler of this place for over 1,000 years. He's like this immortal being who's untouchable, and this group of thieves are trying to take him down. So, Mistborn has a lot of great and amazing aspects to it. It is one of my favorite series. The characters are amazing. The world building is amazing. Everything's just so intricate. The plotting is just so intricate. But what I think what we don't see in other fantasy series that Mistborn has a lot is a really hard and well-defined magic system. The magic system in Mistborn is about metals. It's about burning and consuming metals, and you flare them, you burn them, so you can do different things. And it's really technical, it's really scientific to an extent because it's magic. And you know the limitations of the magic, and you really understand it, and it just serves to push the plot forward. The other book I'm going to compare Mistborn to is Founderside by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is also an adult high fantasy. Do you see a pattern yet? And this is about this young thief named Sancha. She has been on her own for a long time, and she gets drawn into this heist to I can't give a synopsis to this. So the premise is, but unbeknownst to her, to Sancha, she's been sent to steal an artifact of unimaginable power, an object that could revolutionize the magical technology known as scribing. So it's like a high story. She's a thief, and she gets drawn into this bigger conspiracy with the magical artifact. And the reason I compare this to Mistborn, even though this has well-written characters, a really well-written world, which is going to be explored in the later entries in the series, the reason I compare it to Mistborn is because of the magic system. The magic system here is also really well-defined, really scientific to an extent, and you understand the magic system, you understand its limitations, and it's so interesting and fascinating. And so if you enjoy Mistborn, if you enjoy the magic system in Mistborn, if you enjoy the thief aspect in Mistborn, you will enjoy Founderside a lot, and vice versa. The next comparison I'm gonna make is between two books by the same author, but they're not alike at all. And the first one is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Can you tell I love Brandon Sanderson yet? This is a YA sci-fi about this girl named Spenza and her dream to go to the flight academy to learn how to be a pilot, just like her dad was. But her dad is dead. And he's been branded a coward for something he did a lot of years ago, and that's been hanging above Spenza her entire life, and people have been calling her a coward, and her dream is to go to the pilot school and prove that she is not a coward, which is a really big thing in their society. This story is, above everything else, just a ton of fun. Skyward is, despite being 500 plus pages, it's really fast-paced, it's really engrossing, it's really interesting, and it's not as technical as Sanderson's high fantasy stuff in the Cosmere, but it has some technical aspects. For example, this is it's kind of the mechanical aspects of the ship she's in, and it's really interesting. The Spenza's character growth is amazing. The world has so much more to explore on, and I really like this book, and I would really recommend to everybody. The book I'm comparing Skyward to is The Rithmatist by Sanderson. This is a really, really underhyped, underrated YA fantasy. I don't know if it's high fantasy or urban fantasy. It's really confusing. And this is, just like Skyward, a ton of fun. This has not the stakes aren't as high as in Skyward, because like in Skyward, there are these, like, I forgot to say, but in Skyward there are these aliens that are attacking them over and over again. That's why they have to go to pilot school to defend themselves from the aliens. And the aliens kill a lot of people. In The Rithmatist, the stakes are not as high, as in you're not gonna die if you do this wrong. Exactly. But it is, just like Skyward, a ton of fun. The magic system here is amazing. The characters are so engrossing. It also is really fast-paced, even though it is quite smaller. And, oh man, it's just a ton of fun. It also has kind of drawings explaining the magic system and explaining the technical aspects of the magic system, even though they're not the focus. And even though if you're really confused at the beginning, you're not going to be at the end. And so the reason I compare these two is because not only are they by the same author who knows how to write well-done magic systems and characters and stakes, but they're a ton of fun and they're really fast-paced. So if you really like Skyward, which is really popular right now, and you haven't heard of The Rithmatist, I beg you, please pick this up. Please look for it, see if you're interested, because it is completely worth it. The next book I'm picking up, they're both, I think, popular in different places, but the first one I'm going to show that is way more popular in BookTube, especially YA BookTube, is Ciceros by Leigh Bardugo. Everybody knows what this is about. This is a YA high fantasy about this group of thieves who go on this heist to, like, do this thing. I can't say much, you know? But their main motivation is money. So, well, that is it. There are a lot of morally gray characters here, especially Kaz. Kaz is, like, chaotic neutral, bordering on chaotic evil, you know? But this is just overall a really, really interesting book. The main part here, the main focus of the story is the characters. It's not the plot, it's the characters. There are 6 of them, only 5 of them have points of view in this first book, but there's a lot of their backstory and a lot of their, how did they get there, who are they? And it's really, really good, really interesting. The magic system is not the focus here at all, because it's not really well explained in this book. If you haven't read the Grisha trilogy before this, you might be really confused with the magic system. But it's amazing. The characters are amazing. The plot, once it picks up, it really picks up. And if you haven't read this for some reason, I really urge you to read this. The book I'm comparing Six of Crows to is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. So, you've probably heard this comparison before, right? But it's so, they're not the same book, but they have some core aspects that if you like one, you're bound to like the other. The tone here is a lot more, even though the world is really grim dark, it's really depressing, the tone of the 2 main characters is lighter, it's funnier, it's great, and it's a really good, like, juxtaposition. I'm so fancy using that word. But it's a really good juxtaposition between the darkness of the world and the lightness of the characters. The plot is intercalated. That's a word in Portuguese. I don't know if it is in English. It's intercalated with the flashbacks. So the flashbacks to when they were younger and the flashbacks to where they are now. They are thieves. I have not said what this is about. So, oh my god, I'm terrible at this. Lies of Locke Lamora is about the Gentlemen Bastards. They are a gang, pretty much, like a group of thieves in the city called Camor, which is a city crawling with corruption and thieves and all that bad stuff. And Locke is he's a born thief. He loves stealing. I'm using the alignment chart again, but Locke is the chaotic neutral. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. He's the chaotic neutral. The story is a ton of fun, but it is also character-based. The focus of this is the characters, even though the plot is a ton of fun. And there are also a lot of flashbacks. The magic is not much of a focus. So those core aspects that if you liked in Six of Crows or liked in Lies of Locke Lamora, you're going to like in the other. And that was it. Those are all the books I have to talk about today. I hope you were interested in any of them. You added some new books to your TBR. And my name is Sophia, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!